We're standing near just upstream from the Stewart Avenue Bridge. This is I think the third bridge that has been in this location. The earliest one was a trolley bridge in the 1890s. This is also very close to the location in the silent films where they famously tipped the trolley car off the bridge right in that spot and it landed in the gorge. This is the area called the Chimneys. Very famous in many of the old stereo photographs. This ties into our earlier discussion about the jointing pattern in the Finger Lakes and how the shape of the gorges and the erosion pattern is really in many ways dictated by these old the joints. That looks like a very smooth face there, almost as if it was polished by people or mechanically cut or something like that, but in fact that's a cleavage plane from the compression fractures of the formation of Pangea. Upstream from us we have Forest Fall, which is also labeled as the second fall, and that was the location of what was called the powerhouse for the Ithaca Street Railroad. It was a hydroelectric plant that generated power for the electric trolley system that ran in a circle across this bridge, around East Hill, and then back over the Trip Hammer Bridge, and then connected along Thurston Ave and Fall Creek Drive above us now. This time we're looking downstream. We're looking at the bridge at the head of Ithaca Falls with the graffiti on it. And to the left of the bridge, you can see a triangular opening, a dark shadowed opening, and that is the entrance to what's called Ezra's Tunnel. That is a tunnel blasted through the rock by Ezra Cornell in 1830, 1831, when he was a 23-year-old working on the mills for Colonel Beebe. Those mills were originally fed from water from Fall Creek, from Ithaca Falls, but in order to get the water to the mill and get the full benefit of the height of the falls, they actually had a wooden sluice, a wooden box that was on the left-hand wall of the gorge and went from the head of the waterfall down at an angle to the water wheel at the bottom, and it was pinned to the wall of the gorge. And as one can imagine, maintaining something like that through the winter months was not necessarily an easy or fun thing, to be crawling out there on the side of a cliff when it's all covered with ice and replacing a broken board or something like that so the mill could remain in operation. And so Ezra Cornell, again, as a 23-year-old carpenter, probably found it his job to climb out there and do those kind of midwinter repairs, and started thinking there must be a better way. And the better way was, if we only had a tunnel that went through the rock that could supply the water, then we wouldn't have to keep maintaining this wooden box. And it seemed like an outrageous idea by the folks around at the time, but they had enough faith to give a 23-year-old a few wagon loads of black powder, gunpowder, and some help to try it. And sure enough, they were able to, by simply progressively chipping holes in the rock and blasting out pieces with black powder, made a tunnel that's almost 200 feet long, and allowed them to get the full benefit of the water power from Ithaca Falls, which, as I think we said earlier, is one of the largest, most potent of 150 waterfalls in the Ithaca area. That was quite a feat, and as a result, the Ezra's Tunnel became a tourist attraction. If you look down on the gorge below there, you'll see remnants of wooden, looks like a wooden fence pit laid over on its side. That was actually a weir, which is a fence in the water that guides and directs the water flow. So that captured the flow, or guided the flow of the stream off to the left bank into another wooden box, this one above the falls, and then steered the water into the tunnel. And then they could control it with gates. You know, they would obviously not want to waste water if the mill wasn't in operation. So you see some metal bars projecting from the ledge at the bottom of the tunnel, and those were holding apparatus to be able to control the flow of the water. The stone dam was a later addition that was raised the height of the impoundment of water being stored for use in the mills. Again, that water power began in the 1820s and would continue in use probably to the 1880s at least. The flour and plaster mills became textile mills in the 1840s, and eventually that tunnel was used for a period of time to provide power to the Ithaca Gun Company, which was built just below the brink of the falls and to the left, just out of sight. That was kind of all successors to the early industry using the power generated by Ithaca Falls.